listeners and all are welcome to the table. I'm your host, S2E7. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, liking, subscribing, rating, praying, and supporting me on this journey. So make sure to keep tuning in because I know that you are going to leave empowered, blessed, and encouraged to be the best version of yourself. You are tuning into episode 7, We Can Do It. On this episode of Benevolence, we will be discussing various topics in regards to empowerment and encouragement to reach your dreams. My hopes with this particular episode is that you would unearth your hidden dreams and make a move to make them come true. Another major part of this episode is talking about real estate. Now you're probably wondering, real estate, really? But keep in mind that there are many things that you need to know about renting or buying a house or an apartment. So we all get to a season in our lives in which we will be eventually moving out or we get married, and we need to know about the housing market. We need to know about this stuff. And it's important that we cover important aspects of buying, renting that you may not know, and concepts in which you should get ready for. So on this episode, I brought someone who is an expert in real estate. I will let her introduce herself soon so that you can understand why she knows all things real estate. I've known our special guest for many years and have seen her grow into an amazing, inspiring woman. She is beautiful inside and out and has an amazing, inviting personality. We don't see each other often, but when we do, it's always a pleasure catching up. So without further ado, we have Nathalie De Oliveira joining me at the table today. Hey, girl.
Hey, Sassy.
Nathalie, thank you so much for joining me on an episode of Benevolence.
Thank you.
I saw you on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I was like, I gotta talk to Nathalie.
I know.
I gotta talk to her because initially I wanted you to come season 1. And that was during your time when you were doing, I don't know how long you've been social media free.
Right.
But you were kind of like doing your diary. What is it called?
Diaries of a Chubby Girl.
Yes. Diaries of a Chubby Girl. Yeah. So it's still on YouTube, right?
It is. Yeah. Okay. It's just my name, Nathalie De Oliveira. And it was such a blast, honestly. So I am thinking of starting it again. Yay. But this time I think it's going to be more body positivity instead of my journey, because it was mostly about my journey to being healthy. And of course, I'm still on that journey.
Of course.
But this time I think I want to focus more on lifestyle and just body positivity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wasn't sure if you were still doing it. I was like, man, but I'm glad you're here today.
Me too.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Yes. So the greatest accomplishment that you've made recently is that you've become a realtor.
Yes.
So am I saying that right? Realtor?
Yes. I used to say realtor.
Yeah, me too.
And then in the class, they were like, there's no A. And if somebody introduces themselves as a realtor, they're not a realtor.
So it's realtor.
It's realtor.
Okay, realtor. So before we begin,
yes,
I just want you to go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself just so that they can just get to know the gist of you, and then we'll get right into that.
Gotcha. So, as Ceci mentioned, my name is Nathalie, and I'm 25 years old, born and raised in Orlando. I'm a realtor, and that's basically it. I'm just a simple gal. I love hanging out with my friends and eating good food, and I used to love posting on social media. Right now I'm taking a little hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus.
I'm taking a little hiatus, but hopefully soon I'll be back because I love just sharing, bossy body positivity goals.
That's awesome. And go to her YouTube channel because it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. And I was always like every week looking forward to what you post, and so even exciting. Your Snapchats when you're running with your dog or you're taking your dog out.
My dog walking.
Yes. Like, it was just, I felt like I was right there with you.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people say too. Yeah. So I'm glad I can make people feel like they're included.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that because it's a dream. It's a goal. So we'll talk about it soon. But let's go ahead and get started. Yeah. Let's talk about real estate.
Yes.
Our listeners are probably like, real estate? I'm only 20. I'm only 19. I just graduated from high school. Why is Sassy talking about real estate? Yeah. But honestly, on my behalf, I knew nothing about real estate. And when we finally decided to buy a house, it was one of the most, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it was such an emotional roller coaster. Yes. I had full-on anxiety for the entire year that we were looking for a home. Mm-hmm. And even for an apartment, because we had gotten married and we were just looking for apartments. Yeah. And just the anxiety of having a place to live in right after we got married was terrifying. Yeah. And this is something that everybody at one point of their life, they're going to have to come across this.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to continue the conversation, especially with you, because you are 25 years old. But first, let's go ahead and first talk about, why did you want to become a realtor? And then what steps did you take to become a realtor? Because I'm sure there's some people out there that are very interested in the process.
Yeah, of course. So actually, I've always loved sales. So I started working at the mall when I was 18. Yeah. And then I've always liked working with people and, doing that kind of thing. And my dad is a realtor. Okay. And my sister is a broker. Oh, so we have our family business. Yes. So my brother got his license as well, but he's not really involved too much in real estate. He got it mostly to help the family out. Mm-hmm. But I wish I would have done it sooner.
Okay.
So,
you're good.
Okay. So my hands are...
You're good.
So I wish I would have done it sooner because you can get your license straight out of high school.
Really?
You just got to take a 2-week course. You can do it online. You can do it in person. I'm an in-person type of girl.
Yeah, me too.
So I took the course. I think I was 21. And it was right when I started dating.
Okay.
I didn't even want to take that course because I was excited. My first boyfriend's I didn't want anything I was working in retail job, so I was comfortable. Yeah. So I didn't even care. And then I passed the test because you have to take a class test first and then you take the state exam. Okay. So then I studied for the state exam and they say it's best to do it right after the class so you don't have a lot of time.
Exactly.
And I failed it. Okay. And I was like, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. And in high school, I was never an overachiever. Okay. I was always comfortable. Yes. And I didn't have good studying habits. So in the past, I have felt like a failure. Okay. And I was feeling these emotions all over again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me just stick to retail right now. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. Couple of years go by. My parents are come on, you can do this. Really reassuring me and motivating me. So I was like, okay, let me do this again. So I had to take the class again. Wow. Another $200.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I know how you feel.
So
because we talked about this.
That's right.
Many months ago.
Yeah, that's right. So I took the class again at a different school this time because the first school I felt like I wasn't really grasping the material. Yeah. So the second class, it was great. They had tutoring and they were very hands-on, very visual. Okay. So that was great for me. And then I took the class test. I passed it. It took me a couple of tries. And there are 2 locations here in Orlando to take the test. And everybody was telling me, go to the one near Altamont. Okay. It's so, it's smaller. The people there who work there... Are you
talking about the...
Pearson.
That's where I take...
Your test as
my test.
Do you go to the Ultimate one or the SeaWorld?
No, I went to the SeaWorld
Girl, next time you have to take a test, Ultimate.
Really?
Because here, they're kind of...
They're military style. Yo, they make you take your glasses off.
I know.
They check your glasses.
I know.
They make you pat yourself down.
I know. So I went there a couple times and then I was like, you know what? Let me try Ultimate. They are so nice. It's small. Okay. It's cozy. You don't have to get to go to the bathroom. It's just right there in the same place. So it's easy. Yeah. Because I went to go to the bathroom to take a break, to breathe and think everything's okay. So a couple of times, a handful. And then finally I passed it. And it's actually on my YouTube channel.
I know, I remember.
And that day... Oh my god.
You cried and
oh my god, even thinking about it. I was in shock. And on my way there, the whole drive, I was telling myself positive affirmations. Yes. And it wasn't even real estate. I was I'm beautiful, I'm smart. The whole way there. Usually I'm listening to the radio or but this time I was just talking to myself the whole time.
Well, that's really good.
And then I passed the test. And I was in shock.
That's awesome.
I literally did a fist pump in the air.
So did I when I passed mine. I did. Okay, so you know the movie Breakfast Club?
That's exactly me.
Okay, so you know the rebel guy
Yeah.
at the very end
Yeah.
where he's in the football field
Yeah.
and he's walking away and then he does that like fist pump.
Mm-hmm.
I did that
I
right
did too.
outside when I saw the pass.
I did it in front of the man. I was like, don't you forget about me. That was me. I was so happy. I wanted to hug that man. And he was like, congratulations, like so nice. And then I left because usually when you fail, they give you 2 papers. Oh. I only got 1. Wow. So I didn't flip it over. And he was like, yeah, you did it. And I was just like,
I know how that feels.
It was amazing. And then I called my mom. Mm-hmm. I was like sobbing. I called my boyfriend. I was sobbing the whole way there. And then I recorded my video, which was very reckless because I was driving on I-4.
No, but I loved it.
It was in the moment. I had to record my session of...
Because now you have that as memories.
Forever. Anytime I feel like, I don't feel like doing this, I just look back at that.
Yeah.
And...
So from that point on, what was your next step?
So thank God I have my family who is in the business because my dad is so known in the Brazilian community that it's like hotcakes. Like he's like, I have 5 clients who want to rent today and I can't take care of them. Wow. So he just hands it over to me. But the tricky thing with people, they are like shopping for realtors. Okay. So they're talking to one person, talking to another realtor. And then like I learned that I just have to be straightforward with the person. Like, am I the only realtor you're working with? Because if I'm not, then I can't work with you. Yes. Because it's not fair.
It's not.
And it's so easy to rent too or to buy. Those websites, they're not accurate. So there could be a house in the system that has been there for months and it was already sold. Yes. And they're looking at something that's not there. Okay. So us realtors, we are part of an association that you have to pay mad money for. But I mean, it's part of life. You know, you have to... And we have access to all of the fresh things. Yeah. So...
That's like
you can't
the
always
advantages.
The advantages.
So I'm glad you covered that because now you know what the advantages are of having a realtor. Like my father-in-law was the one who sold us this house. So it was very easy for us to get in his like MLS, is that what it's called? And just search and then put our, you know, our zip code and, you know, we looked for ourselves, but you know, obviously he was the one that got us in. But yeah. I also spent a lot of time on realtor.com. Yeah. And it's true what you said. You know, a lot of the things are not accurate. And it's always best to go to a realtor, go to someone who knows what they're talking about. Because, like, when we bought this house, we did not anticipate the amount of money we needed in our bank for our bank to actually approve us a loan. Right. They wanted to make sure that we had money so that we can pay a mortgage. Right. So we were living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Like this was the year that I gave birth to Victoria and the year that I graduated from college. Wow. So we were living with my mom. Yeah. You know, we were tight. Yeah. And we didn't understand that we needed money. Yeah. So we were just not paying bills for a while. Right. And it sounds terrible, but they needed to see that chunk of money. And that's not the way to go. You need to save. So, yes. Natalie, tell our listeners about the importance of saving money. So
let me tell you my goal. My goal is to be able to buy a house or apartment, whatever, whether it's for investing or for myself, to buy it in cash. Yes. That is such a dream for me because all this time, I'm like a spender. Like I like shopping, getting freaking eyelash, not extensions, but a perm.
Oh, you had a perm?
Not anymore because it's like $70 and you have to do it every 6 weeks. But it was incredible. But it was money down the drain.
I've never heard of eyelash perming. That is so very strange.
I do these things that like my money's going away. But if you live at home or even if you don't, like you can easily save your money. Like a Starbucks. Yeah. Save that.
It's so hard though.
That it's so hard. But you can do it. You can do it.
I actually went for a Starbucks today. No, but it's true. Gosh. It's true. I feel that if I were to turn back time, if I could turn back time, my husband and I, we'd be banking right now. Yeah. Like, we spent so much money on food, eating out, that it's like disgusting for us.
I know,
now.
But it's so fun.
It is so fun. You see, we're not helping our listeners.
I know,
but
like you are newly married, but you have to stay strong.
You have to stay strong.
In the end, you'll have a house. You won't have that stress because how you were talking about how you were feeling anxious.
Yes.
My eye twitches. When I'm in the process of selling a house, I'm not even the one buying, but my eye, because of the stress and the anxiety, it twitches.
It's too much.
So if you could just
let save.
Just save.
Just like Starbucks will always be there.
It'll always be there.
Your clothes will always... Clothes change. You're going to buy clothes. Yeah. In a few months,
Go
it's going to change
thrift
again.
Store. That's trendy now.
Yes, it is
and
trendy.
And then when you have your own house, buy yourself an espresso machine.
Yeah.
Like, save your money for stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's sad because I'm saying this now and I wish I could go back, but there's so many of us that we just don't save. It's such a big deal, especially if you want to own a home.
Yeah,
you need to save money.
Absolutely.
So, now we're still talking about you.
Okay.
So what are the benefits or disadvantages of being a young realtor?
Okay. So the first thing that pops in my mind is my voice.
Okay.
I work with adults. I'm an adult, a young adult.
Yeah.
But I have a very young voice. And lots of the times I'm in meetings with my dad and there are other men and my dad will be like, oh, this is my daughter. Sometimes he won't even say that. So people can take me more seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a disadvantage.
It's a disadvantage because people hear my voice. I'll be on the phone like, hi, I have a client who's interested in your listing. They'll be like... go back to high school, ma'am.
My God.
Yeah, they don't take me seriously.
Wow.
And then, oh, hi, sweetie. Like, oh, example. I went to this networking event, and we had to introduce ourselves. I could literally see everybody's expression. Look at me like, she's so cute. Like, their expression. That's what it said.
No way.
Yeah, so that's a disadvantage. An advantage is that I can work from wherever I want.
Okay.
I can work in an office. I have my own office. I can work at home. In the future, when I have a family, I can work from home. So disadvantage is that I have to work in order to make money.
Yes.
It's not a salary, So if I don't make any sales, I don't have money to put food on the table.
Exactly.
Or to buy my new bag that I want.
Oh my goodness. You want a new bag.
No, but
no,
just
but I get it.
Can't.
Yeah. You can't.
I can't splurge or...
Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
So those are the advantages.
There's nothing you can do. So
no.
And people are just so pathetic.
I know.
It's just crazy.
It is.
But I feel like one advantage is that you do know a language.
Yes.
You know Portuguese.
I do.
And that is to your advantage.
It is.
Because right now, the Brazilian market, I call it the Brazilian market, it's rising.
It is.
So you're able to cater to their needs,
Yeah.
A Brazilian is not going to go to a normal, real estate agent who doesn't know the language, So
exactly.
that's a really big advantage. And then you work with your family
and
also.
I work with my family. It's lots of people say you can't mix business and family, but honestly, if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be working in real estate and I wouldn't have this passion working with people. It's so rewarding when you hand the keys over to your client and they have their home, and so that's definitely an advantage. In knowing Portuguese and some Spanish, it does help so much because our market is Brazilians.
Yeah.
So they're here buying, and that's good for me and that's good for my family.
That's really good. That's really good. So what is the first step in buying a home?
First step is going to your bank. Okay. You want to get pre-approved.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do. Whether you have a good credit, a bad credit, you're going to get approved for something.
Okay. So, but sometimes the bank...
They won't want to lend you anything.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That happens to us the first time.
Yeah.
We tried to get a house. We tried to buy a house instead of rent right off of being married.
Right.
But our credit wasn't that, great.
Yeah.
So I remember a bank, offered us like $100,000.
Yeah,
like what
so
the
low.
heck can we get for $100,000?
Yeah.
So we had to rent for a while.
Yeah.
And then when we moved with my mom to try to save money so I can finish school,
Right.
then we built credit by then, and then we were able to get a higher.
Which is so sad too, because like when you're renting, that money is like the same amount as a mortgage.
Exactly.
And now rent is sky high.
It is.
It's so high now.
So talk to our listeners about the difference between renting and buying. So,
right, like the process.
Yes.
So the process for renting is super easy. It's just finding availability.
Yeah.
So tricky because people are always sending in applications. It gets approved. There are some neighborhoods, like for apartments, that you can go straight to the neighborhood where it won't even be in my system because they own it. So if it's privately owned, like John owns an apartment, he wants to put it for rent, then you can go through a realtor and, you know, find those places, homes, apartment, townhomes, whatever. Townhomes. So that's super easy. You just gotta sometimes put in a deposit. You know, it's really quick usually. Buying a home, it could take 2 days or up to over a year.
Yes.
It just depends on your situation. Depends what kind of financing you have. Sometimes, like there are two, for example, the two big ones are FHA financing and
you forgot?
FHA financing.
FHA financing. What's that? That's like first-time home buyers.
First-time home buyers.
And the reason why I know this is because you
guys had FHA financing.
Yeah. So you have to take a course. So for those,
and there's so many little rules.
There
like
are.
On the
you
house.
have to be here for 10 years.
Wow.
In order for that loan to dissolve.
Yeah. So there's FHA and conventional.
Nice.
Conventional is a little bit more lenient, but it depends too because on the down payment, you have to put a little bit more. Yeah. So FHA sometimes it's like 3%. A conventional will be like maybe 10%. So you have to put in a little bit more, which comes well if you're saving. Because sometimes you can even put more in your down payment and like be safe.
Yeah. We did the FHA, first time home buyers. Which I do recommend. Do you recommend that for first time?
So, yeah.
I believe it helps.
It does. And also you can get first time home buyers. There are a lot of applications or programs that will help you out. Yes. So that's something good to look into as well. It is.
Because I remember Anthony and I, we went to do a class. And it was an all-day class, and a lot of different people talking about taking care of the home, and you know, whatever. It's one of those classes. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they'll give you a certificate, and then that certificate is valid for a certain amount of time, and then you know, you start looking for a home, and then what happens when you do it? The bank. FHA, they give you a loan to help with closing costs. So, can you explain to our listeners about, you know, that, because some people, they don't understand that there are some costs that you need to provide when closing on a house. So if you can just briefly explain the steps of buying a house and then explain closing costs and all that.
Gotcha. Okay, so you'll go get pre-approved. And then really it depends like on your lender, like how they do things, because when you come to the realtor, we don't deal with the lending. Yeah. That's a totally different ball field. So for me, for a realtor, you'll come to us, we can sit down, and then you'll say what you want. I want to buy a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, what area are you looking at? So then I'll start my search. And that's where the fun part comes in.
Yeah, that's
because
fun.
You look at the houses, you go out, you take them, and then they want to send in an offer. That's the second thing. So sometimes you want to put it right at what they're asking for or a little bit under because maybe the house needs some work or something like that. You send them the offer. That's where it gets a little anxious. Yes. And then, are they going to accept? Okay, they accepted. The search is over. Then the next thing, you do the contracts and all that stuff, and then it just takes time because the lender, the title company, they do all this magic where I'm not even... Yeah. I just send in the contract and then they communicate. Yeah. And it's so stressful because the buyer is like responding to the lender, responding to them, responding to me. It's It can be really stressful, but if you have like good and organized people, it can be such like a blessing.
Yes.
And then you have the closing date and the closing costs. Like there are certain things like HOA sometimes, the homeowners association. You have to pay for that. Or like things like insurance for the house and just little things like that do add up.
I know, they do.
It adds up.
And the scary part was the closing costs. And that's when the first-time home buyers was able to help us with that.
Yeah.
You know, first-time home buyers, they'll give you a grant of a certain amount of money, and then that'll cover closing costs, that'll cover some other fees, in which that if you don't do that, you are expected to pay those costs. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like buying a home is, it's a big process. It's a big deal. But I feel like renting, when we rented, we hated renting.
Yeah.
That rent money would just go nowhere. Yeah. It was going to someone else.
Yeah.
We were helping somebody else get money.
Yeah.
Having cash flow.
Exactly.
Which is the new language in the Diaz family. We're always talking about cash flow and how we have to like see what we can do so we can have that like extra money come in to help us financially.
Of
you
course.
know? But yeah, definitely first time home buyers. That would be maybe the second step you want to do after you get approved.
Right.
So go to a bank, get approved, and then look into the first time home buyers class.
Absolutely.
So that
But don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's part of life. It's part of the journey. In the end, it's so rewarding.
It
is. You get the
is.
key and that place is yours.
Yes.
That's why it's important to save and, you know, the little things like detail too, and make sure you're working with somebody who you can trust and who you feel good with. You feel confident in your realtor, because in the end, they are representing you.
Absolutely.
They want the best interest for you.
Of course. Now, just talking about realtors. So, because people, obviously, they're going to go to Zillow. They're going to go to...
Trulia.
Or the Realtor app.
Yeah.
Which is what I used during our house search time.
Right.
So, what are the benefits? I know you mentioned it before, the real time.
Right.
The stuff isn't accurate. But doesn't those apps and those programs, like, isn't it kind of a disadvantage for realtors?
Absolutely. Because it's competition.
Yeah. So.
And, you want to know a fact? Zillow is run in Washington State.
Really?
Something like that. I might not have the fact correct, but it's not Florida. Like, they're just getting information from all these other places.
Yeah.
So
that's so weird.
That's how like inaccurate it is.
Okay.
Sometimes it's accurate because you can put your own house or like stuff like that. A lot of people who do like for sale by owner, they end up switching to actually going with the realtor because it's putting it in our system, MLS. Okay. Because if you're gonna try to sell your house on your own, it's hard. So
there's definitely a disadvantage to having these apps.
Yeah.
Like, I used it all the time. It was fun, but
it's
I know
fun to look at the pictures.
It is fun.
And see what's available.
Yeah, so guys, if you're listening and you need a realtor, please hit up Nathalie.
It's agent Nathalie DE at gmail.com.
Ooh.
And the Nathalie has an H after the T.
So official.
Nathalie.
Yes,
but
Nathalie.
Don't say Nathalie or else I won't be no realtor.
When I text you the correct way.
Yeah.
I've always known that it was with the TH.
Oh my gosh, teachers used to always say, Nathalie, and I'd be like...
I'm so sorry. So I feel that we've pretty much covered everything on the real estate side.
Yeah.
You know, if you're out there and you're listening in, you know, look for a realtor, look for Nathalie, and get some advice from someone who knows about the market.
Absolutely.
Don't try to like wing it on your own. It's very stressful. It takes everything. Yeah. It takes like, I suffered from anxiety prior to finding a house, but I didn't really know about anxiety until we were in that process. And it was very, very, it was heartbreaking. Yeah. We would put offers on these gorgeous houses and dream homes, and you can already dream and see, and then in a blink of an eye, it was gone by cash. People who are buying in cash.
Yes.
So that's process is not...
Save.
Yes.
The more cash you have in your hand, the more advantage you have.
Absolutely. I agree. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I think like we did really good with this.
And then get your like inspiration with HGTV.
That's all I watched.
Go to Target and like dream of your home, create a Pinterest board. So that gets you like motivated and inspired too.
Yes.
You know?
That's why like a lot of the language, the lingo of real estate, I know because of
HGTV.
Yes.
Chip and Joanna.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
I love them.
Me too.
I love them so much. So I don't know if you know, and they're not sponsoring me for this, but I wish they were. But they're having their own network.
Wow.
So now they're going to have their own like channel.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
They're so cute.
They're so good.
They're loved by America.
They really are. Like they're like the first, like not the first lady, but she is now. She is the first lady of America and the first man of America. Like they're like the typical country, you know, all-American family.
But they just seem so down to earth.
They really are.
And genuine.
I don't know them.
I know. Just by the look of it, like, they're simple. Like, you could see it by how they present themselves on TV. Of course, it's TV. We don't know personally.
But still.
But you get, like, everybody loves them for a reason.
I love them. And I don't care what you say about them. But
also, side note, a show that really, like, inspires me, too, for real estate is House Hunters.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
I like watching the international ones.
International, me too.
Because these people go to Europe thinking that they're going to get these luxurious things. And they're just little... tiny itty bitty homes that are tiny. Just, and I'm like, oh my goodness, in the bathrooms and oh no,
I know,
no.
But it's so cool to compare as a realtor, especially. It's so cool. And then watching how does it call $1 million listing?
Yes,
with Frederick. I don't know if you guys know
who Frederick
is the one from New York, and he does like this high kick.
Okay.
Every time he's a broker, he's amazing. And he inspires me.
And, like, isn't that, like,
so
New York?
fancy.
LA.
Yes. Like, so fancy. And it gives me all of, like, the feels. That makes me want to be so...
But you can make it.
I can make it, of course. I just can't be lazy.
No. You gotta, like, put...
you have to hustle in real estate.
Yeah, you have to put the work in. That's good. So, with that being said, because I know that, you know, this is your career, this is what you want to do, but... Let's talk a little bit further about reaching your dreams.
Yes.
So talking about women empowerment, we live in an age now where women are fighting for their rights, equal pay, conditions, and all of that. You know, and that's great. Like, that's like, it's about time. You know, and I feel like we've always been fighting for our rights, especially in the business world.
Yes.
But let's talk about, like, women empowerment, like, personally, like, in general. So what do you think... Like, what drives you? Because I know that, like, when you did your YouTube Diaries of a Chubby Girl, like, what drove you to do that? And obviously, you wanted to empower women.
Right.
So, talk to me a little bit about, like, that goal that you had and what you were doing earlier in the year, I guess. And what was your goal? Right. You know, what is it that... And I see your shirt. It's like, never underestimate the power of a woman. Like, she came ready, guys.
I did. I wore
she
this
came
purposefully.
Ready. So, talk to me a little bit about that. What moved you to want to do something like that?
So, first point that I kind of want to say, too, I think, like, women empowerment and feminism get confused.
Yes. Absolutely.
They get confused a lot. Feminism, of course, it may be great, can be positive, but I think it's really intimidating.
It is.
Very harsh.
It is.
Women empowerment, they're both sisterhoods, you know? But women empowerment is so positive. The word itself, like, empowerment.
Yes.
Like, we are empowering each other. We're bringing each other up. Yes. So reason why I created my YouTube channel and, like, I shared all this body positivity is because I was always a very confident person, and I am a plus-size girl, but I just hate seeing girls so hard on themselves because of their body. Yeah. Like, that breaks my heart because of somebody probably told them that they're fat. or somebody told them that they need to lose weight in order for somebody to love them.
Yeah.
You know, that breaks my heart because I was told that once. And it's a lie.
It is.
Like, that is such a lie. And girls nowadays, they believe it.
Yes.
All the days. That's always been something.
Always been.
And it's getting worse.
It is.
So that's what really, like, drove me. You know?
Okay.
I just really wanted to, you know, let the girls know that you are loved, you know, by God. And, you know, you have a family, hopefully. Or just, like, even if you don't, like... First, you have to love yourself.
Exactly.
Like, that is honestly, and I say on my channel, like, I love just, like, sharing, like, I can't express it enough. Like, that is just, you have to love yourself first.
You have to. You know, I was always a confident person, too. I was never really put down because of my size. If anything, you know, some bad words here and there growing up, you know, because I wasn't average.
Yeah.
But... I was always content, and I remember there was a time where my butt, like, it just came out, guys. Like, it just popped out. Like, it was one summer. It just came out of nowhere. I was not expecting it, and I think it was, like, around 12 and 13 years old. And I think that was the moment where I was very, very, I had a complex, like, with my butt. And I remember it was, like, 100 degrees outside in Miami, and that was during the time of Miami, and I had a jacket on. Like, I had a jacket tied around my waist. I would wear a dress, and I'd have a Nike jacket around my waist. Like, it was that bad.
Wow.
And then I remember the next year was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, look at my butt, bro.
Yeah. For real.
Like, it's big, and you know what? Like, whatever. People like it. And yeah, like, you know, so I was like, you know what? Enough with the jacket. So I let go of the jacket, and, like, since then, I just remember... And it's so bad, but I remember I was just really, was a little extra confident.
Feeling yourself a little
I was
too
really,
much.
really, yeah. And in high school, I was just, you know, letting it loose, you know. And, you know, I got a lot of, like, compliments, you know, because, you know, I was smaller during that time, too. So I had, like the thin waist and, like, the big hips, you know. So it was just, like, you know, so I never really felt, you know, insecure.
Yeah.
And... I'll be honest to say, Natalie, that even now, I know that I have so much to work on.
Yeah.
I am my biggest ever, but I don't cry myself to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I look at myself, you know, when you're about to take a shower, always looking at yourself, and I'm just like, okay. Like, I'm not, like, grabbing.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God. Like, I don't.
Like, look in the mirror, and like, girls do that.
And girls do that.
And you know what? My number one tip for that, because obviously, like, I have looked in the mirror and be like, oh, like, I could lose, like, a little bit of weight, but at the end of the night, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And your weight does not define your happiness.
It doesn't.
But a number one tip.
Okay.
Lotion your body. Like, literally. Like, it sounds silly.
If you could only be here with us. It's just like, lotion your body.
Massage your body. Like, get the lotions that smells good and just, like, moisturize your body.
Okay.
After a shower. That's the best feeling. At least to me. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
No, whatever.
But that's the best
It sounds
feeling.
great.
It's amazing. You just massage your body and you start, like, I'm so beautiful. Like, wow. You know?
Okay. It sounds... Like, I don't have time for that, but I'll try.
It can be a second. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be
mom.
long.
I'm like,
I know. That's
got
so
a girl
true.
who's walking in while I'm taking a shower and things like that. But yeah, that's actually a really good...
Show your body love.
Yeah. Like, you know, there's always improvements.
Always.
But I don't let it get there.
That's so good.
I don't let it... Like, if anything, if I have any insecurity right now, it's fear of, like... achieving dreams.
Yeah.
It's fear of moving forward. It's fear of what other people think about what I'm currently doing right now. We'll talk about that later on, but that's my greatest insecurity.
Yeah.
I don't have, you know, I could always have less acne. I can always, you know, I would love to have like long eyelashes and perfect eyebrows, you know, and, you know, straighter teeth.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, like, ruin my day.
Absolutely not.
You know? So I feel like, you know, women empowerment, you have to love yourself first. So I agree with what you said. You have to love yourself first before you can do anything in life.
Yeah, and then also, like, if you're trying to empower a woman, like, and you don't love yourself first, you go home feeling empty.
It's true.
You did all this work. You gave all this, effort, and you go home and you're just the same.
It's true. I said in a few, and this is like my big thing with friendships, and I think I mentioned it in the episode with Nisha, that I said that if you go home and you're so tired, like, because you were like being fake that whole time, and you feel like your friends weren't empowering you. If you don't leave empowered,
that's so true.
Those are definitely people that you don't want to be around with.
Absolutely.
That's why, like, I tried to, like, surround myself with people that when I leave them in the evening, I'm like, yo, I'm ready to, like, conquer the world.
Yeah.
You need to be with people that empower you. And the quote that always comes up, empowered women empower women.
Yes.
So,
that's so true.
I know it sounds weird, but empowered women empower women.
Yeah.
So it's important to surround yourself with people who are gonna push you forward.
Yeah.
And not be jealous of you. Because that's another thing.
That is.
Like, you can have a friend, but deep inside they're envying you of your successes.
Yeah.
Or what you have.
Yeah.
So it's important to just be real and just move people to be successful. Now tell us a little bit about your own personal path of like reaching your goals and empowering. Like, I know this wasn't just something that came out from nowhere. There was a process, there was a journey. So tell us a little bit of how you like became an empowered woman about self-image and all of that.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, though, I was always pretty confident, but I think just not comparing myself to, that's hard. That's something we all do. Social media, you know, it's so easy because it's such like a picture perfect, situation. And so I did find myself doing that sometimes and comparing myself, or like my singing voice, comparing it to others. People would always tell me, like, go on The Voice. I'm just like, why? Like, I'm not gonna get. And then I started thinking to myself, and I started realizing that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
That's matter. It. Like, it doesn't. My happiness is what matters.
Exactly.
And me having the conviction and being right with the Lord, like my relationship with the Lord.
Absolutely.
That's all that matters. So I think my journey to like empowerment, it was simple. Thankfully. I think, like, it didn't happen overnight, but it wasn't something that I went through something hard or, I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, because I feel the same way, too.
Yeah. I just always had this passion to, like, make other women feel good, too.
Me, too.
I just wanted them to feel what I was feeling about myself.
Okay. And I feel that, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm like that, too. But I also feel like, there's a quote that says, be who you didn't have when you were younger. And don't quote me on it, but it's something like, be the person that you didn't have when you were younger.
Right.
So I wanted to be that person that empowered people.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that person that encouraged people, that made them feel good about themselves, inside and out. And, not that I lacked that growing up, but there were some times in my life in which I felt like I needed that and I didn't have it. And even as an adult, there were times where I wasn't surrounding myself with the right people.
Yeah.
Or I didn't have those leaders, and this is in general, like having an accountability partner and all of that. So be who you didn't have when you were younger.
Yeah.
Be that person. So that's like my thing.
And can I say something too? Yeah. Not only do women need empowerment, but so do men.
So do men.
Like our husbands, our boyfriends, our dads, they also have feelings and a heart. And, men need to hear that respect, or men need to hear that affirmation as well.
They do. Absolutely.
So I think that's so important as well.
It's true. Like, my husband's love language is more of like the quality time, the touch. But, every now and then I give him like, baby, I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough right now. We're going through a tough time, but I'm proud of you. And like, I'm your number one fan. When you're up there worshiping and you're leading the crowd and you're doing your thing, like, you surprise me every time. So I like, it's good to encourage because men have it hard too.
Yeah, they do. They feel pressure. Yes. I feel.
And speaking, and I'm glad you brought up the men aspect, because I think when I talked to you on Thanksgiving, I had mentioned to you that, you know, women are always going to fight for equality. Yes. Women are always going to fight for their rights, and that's fine. And I'm all for that. Yeah. But my husband is recently going through a situation in which he's trying to work up the ladder within his corporate, you know, career and his job. And it's hard for him because all of his leaders are women, and they tend to belittle, and they tend to kind of like look over the men. Yeah. They want to hire women, you know, women VPs, women leads, supervisors, managers, and that's great. But I'm like, what about the men that are working their butts off, trying to get a degree like my husband, you know, trying to get an accounting degree so that he can be an accountant. And he's offering himself, you know, he wants to work up the ladder. He wants to make more money. And you're not going to give him an opportunity. You know, so there are some downfalls when it comes to, you know, women equality.
Yes, exactly. Because that's not empowerment, I feel. Because that's just leaning towards, you know, us women. Like, you're not thinking of the human being as one. Yeah. You know, like men and women, you're working towards a company so you guys can grow together. Exactly. And not just like, oh, I'm a woman, so we're going to do this. Just us. It's a team effort. It is. You know, and if you see somebody who's working so hard and, you know, doing their best, why not give them that opportunity?
Yep. Have you ever had to deal with that because you're a woman? Have you had moments in your, like, in the different jobs that you had that men would kind of like look at you because you're a girl? Because I get that all the time.
Honestly, when I worked at Sunglass Hut, at the Millennium Mall, they opened a brand new one at the Macy's. So they took a team of 4 of us. Okay. And I was part-time. But when I moved to the new location, I was basically full-time. And it was insane. But I was making great money because we got commission as well. Nice. So it was nice. But then we got our new manager. And we were working so hard. And this new manager was a man. And, like, we had a routine. And we had things, like, way we did it. Yeah. But he, like, totally scratched. And it worked. You know, the way we were doing it was great. We were making so many sales and everything. But then he came in and he changed it all up. Oh, and he stopped giving me hours.
No way.
So and I was the only Brazilian, which was my advantage because, like, we had so many Brazilian. But he stopped giving me hours.
And do you feel that it was because you were a woman?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I feel like that now. I'm not going to say, like, where I work, but you guys know what I do. But I kind of feel like that now sometimes. Like, sometimes, like, a man will, like, just walk by me like I'm and nothing. Yeah. Like, if they know more than me. And yeah, I probably don't know anything. You probably do know more than me, but can you at least, like, give me your time? Yeah. Like, I have some colleagues, you know, that don't even look my way, and these are men, you know, and I get so angry. I'm like, oh, you think you're better than me? Like, you're nothing. Like, I get so, like, you know, and it's so hard. And I think it's gonna take forever for us to finally be, like, equal. Yeah. I think there's always gonna be some sort of downfall. Yeah. You know.
But I think that's, like, where we do it with kindness. Exactly. We don't win by doing anything that's going to be intimidating to somebody else. Absolutely. You don't win that way. Yeah. You know?
It's true. It's so true. And that's why Benevolence, where kindness matters. And all are welcome to the table. So if you don't know, now you know. But yeah. So moving on. What advice or suggestions can you give to women who need a little bit of encouragement in their day? Like, what can you advise? That doesn't sound right. What advice can you give them? You know, what has helped you? Right. What has motivated you? So,
words of affirmation to yourself. And just wake up grateful. I think that's just a grateful heart is the most important thing too.
Yep.
You know, just be grateful. Like, you're waking up, you have a roof over your head, you have a bed, you know, you're going somewhere. Maybe you're staying home for the day, but you have a home, or maybe you're going to work, taking care of your children, whatever it is. We're all blessed in one way or another. So I think that is definitely like the source of being empowered and feeling empowered and empowering others.
Because I feel like sometimes we forget everything that God has done for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how far he's brought us.
Yeah.
And we're like, we still want more.
Yeah.
We still want more. You know, we're very ungrateful.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that you said that. Even if you have to write it down.
Exactly.
They have great thankful journals, you know, and every day you write what you're thankful for. But I think that works. That definitely works.
I think so too.
I think I'm going to start that because I struggle with that sometimes. I'm always, you know, worried about what other people think about me. And especially with this gig that I do with Benevolence, you know, it's hard because you compare yourself to other podcasters and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's the struggle is real.
It is.
You know, how many followers are following you? And like, I don't want to live that lifestyle.
No.
But unfortunately, God wants me to do this. And I'm doing it with all of my heart. But, you know, there's times where I get really distracted.
Of course.
And I need to realize, you know, look at where he brought me from. Look at all that he has provided.
Yeah.
You know.
And with that, you're already going to feel empowered.
It's true.
You're going to be like, oh, wow. Like, you realize, like, wow, I have everything I need.
Exactly.
Am I hungry? No. Maybe out of gluttony. But, like, no, I'm good. Like, God has got you.
Amen. That's really good. That's really good.
That's my advice.
Yeah.
Just be grateful.
That's really good. So, what inspires you? What are some things that inspire you?
You know what?
Tell me.
Outside.
Nature. Okay.
Animals.
Okay.
so
you guys need to tune in. No, it's good. Like, you guys, if you want to get familiar with what she's talking about, you have to see her
my expressions and my YouTube channel.
But also the YouTube channel.
So
like,
you get like a mental picture. That's so true.
Yes.
I love like being outside, except for the summer sometimes.
No, the summer's terrible.
But like seeing the animals, like the trees like withering in the wind, you know, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's what inspires me. Like, I can go outside and breathe the fresh air, you know, like I can go on a bike ride.
Yeah.
Even though I had a really traumatic experience a couple years ago on a bike ride. Won't go there, but it was so scary. Instincts kicked in.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. So, but I think just being like present.
Okay. And it's good that you're doing this little
social media.
Yeah. I need to do it, but
do it. I recommend everybody to do it, even if it's for like a week.
It really is. It really is good.
Like, actually deactivate it. Not just delete the app. Because you can activate it again.
So, delete the app or no, deactivate?
No, deactivate
and start again?
No, because you can activate it.
Oh, okay.
So, when I decide to get back on Instagram, I'll just activate it.
Okay.
And then everything's there.
Okay.
But that's my, it's been 3 months.
Wow. That's a lot of time.
And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do a month. Like, I can't.
I don't know if I wouldn't even be able to do like a week.
You can. It's so doable. We have so many things to do in life.
It's true.
Girl, I've read 3 books in 1 week.
So what books do you recommend now that we're there?
So I like young adult romance.
Oh,
I like fiction.
Okay, good.
So I'm not like nonfiction or like, I like sometimes like self-help books or like devotionals. I always do a devotional on the Bible app. They have 7-day plans.
Yes.
So first thing when I wake up, instead of going on Instagram, I do my 7-day plan.
Nice.
It's great.
So you have to be, what's that word? That you have to be like, not consistent, but disciplined.
Disciplined. You have to be disciplined.
You have to be. Because if you're not gonna
succeed.
Yeah, you're not.
That's so dramatic. Dun, dun, dun.
And speaking of success, you know, what inspires me, I think, are surrounding myself like with people that empower. And I keep saying the word empower, but it really does. Like, when I have like a good day, it's usually when I'm with my girls or I'm with my family.
Yeah.
And I come home and we've laughed and we've we've played, and you know, it's just like being around people that are positive, and that is what my inspiration is.
Yes.
Like, I love being just around people that push you forward to be the best version of yourself.
And if you have to cut people out of your life who are always negative, I've had to do that. It was the best thing I ever did.
Me too. I've had to do that too. And it really is.
It's hard because you don't want to hurt the person or, you know, make it like, you know, something dramatic, but you have to think of yourself.
You have to. I agree. So, moving on. So, what are your future goals?
So, as I mentioned earlier, buy a house and cash.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. That would be amazing. Marriage, definitely. The whole babies. Like, I love that. And then hopefully I can start I will start my YouTube channel again and start doing videos because I really do enjoy that. And I just love making people laugh and making
your
people
content is so good.
Yeah?
It really is, Natalie.
Aww.
Like, I hope that when you walk out of here, like, you're ready to start.
I do.
Because, like,
I feel
honestly,
empowered.
Yes. Like, I truly enjoy it. I laughed so many times with your vlogs, and it's just like, it's so funny. It's just everything that you say.
There was once in one of my vlogs, I was crying and I was eating a bowl of cereal. Why? I don't remember, but I was like sad and I was like, I'm eating a bowl of cereal, and then after that I was like, fine. And then I showed my brother, he's like, please don't post that. And I was like, I have to post this. It's hilarious.
But why
and
were
it's
you
so
crying?
True. Honestly, I can't remember. But I was eating this bowl of cereal, and I was like, and I'm eating this bowl of cereal. It was just hilarious.
I remember the days that you would have to go like on the strict diet, and you were like, you were suffering.
There was a time where a couple of years ago, maybe like 6 years ago, I did a strict diet, kind of like keto, but even worse. Yeah. I would only eat 10 grams of carbs a day.
Oh my God, stop
700 calories.
Stop it.
I lost a lot of weight, but I started running. There was one day, it was like out of a movie. It was raining, and I stopped at my end of the street, and I started crying. I was like, why am I doing this? And then I went upstairs and I ate my chicken and asparagus.
Oh my God.
I would have 3 chicken tenders, like grilled, and 6 pieces of asparagus.
No.
Every day. It was miserable.
No, that's miserable.
And then I gained double back.
That's
like,
the thing.
It's not worth it. Just drink a lot of water. Like, that's my other thing. Like, I drink so much water. And, like, I still eat everything. Like, I'm not really on a diet. You know
I don't think we should say diet.
No.
We need to say lifestyle change. Yeah.
But you know what my other goal is? So I should start right now, but like I was going to start last week. But then we're
in the holiday season.
The holiday season. But I want to start running again.
Okay.
Because I do enjoy running.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know Crane's Roost. Over in Altamont, it's a huge lake. It's kind of like Lake Yola.
Okay.
But I want to be able to run the whole trail, hopefully by the end of January.
That's really good. That's a good goal.
So it's more like of being active.
Okay.
And not like losing weight. But I know that losing weight will come with that.
Yes.
But my goal isn't to lose weight because I love my body the way I am.
Yeah.
So I just want to be active. Like, I think running, and I think buying cute clothes for exercising.
Yeah.
Maybe get a Fitbit.
A Fitbit.
No, like an Apple Watch.
The Apple Watch.
It's cuter.
A Fitbit is like, I don't know what that is.
It's like the Apple Watch, but it's like for active. Like, it tells you how many steps you took.
Okay, no,
like that.
I don't need that.
I like have my finger around my wrist, like doing circles.
I don't need that. All right. Well, I'm just gonna go straight to my reflection.
Yes.
But I think we covered a lot of areas.
I think
so
we
covered the real estate. We covered what inspiration, empowerment, and I hope that our listeners from this point on, like, talking about benevolence, and remember I told you earlier, I was like, oh, I'm gonna save it, for the podcast. But it's hard. Yeah. It's hard doing this, but I love it. Like, it's hard, but I love it. And I don't care, how hard it is. I'm going to continue doing it because I believe that this is what God wants me to do.
Yes.
You know, but it's hard because I don't even know how to explain without being so whatever. But, you know, it's been years that I've been wanting to do something.
Yeah.
There's dreams in which I want to take Benevolence to another level, you know, and it's just scary. Mm-hmm. It's just scary. It's scary when you have, and we shouldn't do this, but there's just so much competition out there. Mm-hmm. There's just so much out there. They're like, you know, the podcast world is now, the percentages are rising. Now people are just like getting into podcasts now. And it's like, there's so many different types of podcasts. And I'm like, but what does Benevolence, how does Benevolence stand out? You know, and it's just like always trying to think of what can I do better to gain more followers? And I hate thinking that way. Yeah. How can I get more people to subscribe? Mm-hmm. How can I get more people to like? Yeah. You know, and I don't want to live that way. No. You know, I can't because it really does drive you wild.
And you end up becoming a slave to that.
Yes. And you know, I love Benevolence and I will continue doing it, you know, until we get to that next level, you know, and I can try to achieve bigger dreams with this gig, but it's tough. It's tough to do. And, you know, a lot of us Christians, we tend to think that God doesn't want us to be successful. Yeah. You know, that's just a misconception. Mm-hmm. God doesn't want us to be successful. Yeah. You know, maybe I'm thinking too much about followers, or I'm thinking too much about money, you know, being a millionaire, or having the family, having the house, you know, that we forget, like, what does God want you to do? Yeah. You know, what is God's will for your life? And a lot of people, they always like, you know, maybe I shouldn't want money, or maybe I shouldn't want to better my career, you know, because, you know, it's to advance the kingdom. But either way, you're advancing the kingdom, you know. So there's a few things, you know, that I would just want to let you guys know, because it's just not for my listeners, it's for me too, because sometimes, you know, we forget. But God absolutely wants us to be successful. There's no way around it. Like, He wants us to flourish. You know, we get discouraged because we don't have the house, the career, the kids, the house. I said that already. The car, you know, the likes. Yeah. You know, the subscribers. You know, but it's important that we lean on God's promises and that we focus on, what does God want me to do? Mm-hmm. You know, His successes are my successes. My successes are His successes, you know, and we need to be obedient to what God wants us to do. And 3 things I wanted to mention real quick is that you have to be intentional. Yes. Like, if there is a dream that you have, be intentional about it. You know, get that journal out again. Start writing again. Yes. You know, get that dream that you've always wanted to do. If you've always wanted to do a YouTube channel, do a freaking YouTube channel. Yes. Do it. You know how many people are so scared of doing it because there are already other people that are doing it? Mm-hmm. Do it. Put your stuff out there. Yeah. You know, and be intentional, you know, and do it.
So important.
Get out of your comfort zone. Yes. I think that's something that is just so...
Don't get comfortable.
No. I think it's always good to be uncomfortable. Yeah. You know, it's always good to be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. When you're too comfortable, then you need to, like, rework your life. Yeah. You know? And with doing Benevolence, like, it seems like I'm sitting here in my office, I'm just having a conversation with Nathalie, but, like, I'm being vulnerable too. Yeah. I'm literally putting myself out there, you know? Course. And it's always nerve-wracking for me every week when I release an episode. So it's just, be intentional. Yes. Be intentional with what God wants you to do. Yes. And another thing is to stay focused on the goal. Mm-hmm. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop worrying about, you know, how people are just getting better opportunities and you're just there. Yeah. You know, be focused on the goal. You know, right now my focus is Benevolence, and I need to stop worrying about what other people are saying and just focus on the message that I give every week. Yeah. You know, which is to empower, encourage, and for everyone to be blessed. Like, that's all I want. I just want people that are listening to this to just, like, be like, wow, okay, I can do my day, because, you know, Ceci and, Nathalie, they went through their hard times, but look at where God has brought them to.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, go ahead.
Life isn't a competition.
It's not.
We're all going at our own pace. Mm-hmm. You might be going in one direction and somebody might be going that same direction, but you're both going to get there. Mm-hmm. And you're both going to touch different people.
Exactly.
So don't worry about rushing as long as you're working towards it and you don't stay stagnant.
Yes.
That's what's important.
Absolutely. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And then the last thing is to lean on God's promises. I always say this verse because it's my favorite verse of life. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Like, God really intends to have a hope he has a hope in a future for us.
Yeah.
He wants us to prosper in life. He doesn't want us to stay just stuck.
Of course.
He doesn't want that for us. So I remember like a month ago, and I told you this earlier, like I wasn't sure if benevolence was something that I should be doing. I just wasn't sure. I was doing it, but I wasn't sure. And then we had a prophet come to our church and literally called me out by name, bro. Like, it was one of the craziest things that I've ever experienced in my life. Called me out by my name. And, if you're not a believer, we believe in the fivefold ministries, which are the teachers, prophets, pastors, I forgot the other two.
Don't look at me.
Evangelists. But we believe in the fivefold ministries. So there are people that have special gifts, and they're gifts of the Spirit.
Yes.
So there are certain people that have the gift of prophecy. Okay. And I'm always a little skeptical with prophets because, you just don't know. You just don't know. But they're definitely used by God. And this particular one is like legit.
Yeah.
And he literally called me by my full name,
wow.
like Cecilia Diaz. And when I went up there, I was already like ready to like freak out already because I just knew what was coming.
Wow.
And he mentioned, he was like, you have listeners, you have people who are listening to you. And like I was already like crying. And then he was like, erase all doubt. Just this is something that God wants you to do. So keep doing it because you are breaking chains. You are healing hearts.
That's beautiful.
So I was just like, oh, okay. If this is the promise that you have, lean on God's promises. Yeah. Remember what God said. Because sometimes the enemy will throw things at you and you forget what God told you.
So
you forget the promises.
Distractions.
Yes. So just lean on his promises and remember what he said. Because you got this. God's got your back. And he will never leave you nor forsake you. Work on that goal and get working.
Yeah.
Because God is always going to,
he's got you.
Work for good.
Yeah.
Everything. So you have any last words, Nathalie?
I think I just want to say that if you're listening, you're beautiful, you're special, and, don't ever doubt yourself and work hard. Life is it's hard. Mm-hmm. It can be hard, and we have our good times and our bad times, but like something that helps me or whenever I think of something, nobody's going to do it for me.
Exactly.
I have to do it, so you just got to work hard and, work towards your dreams and your goals and just empower others,
Mm-hmm.
And love yourself. Do the moisturization that I mentioned earlier.
Get that lotion, baby.
Be intentional about that, ladies.
That's a good one. Well, Nathalie, thank you so much for joining me at the table.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
It
was just amazing.
So much fun.
If you want to know a little bit about Nathalie and her real estate job, if you want to connect with her on the process of real estate, if that's something that you're interested in doing in the future, or if you need a realtor, get with Nathalie, get with her dad, but get with Nathalie because I know she needs that money.
Yes,
you know
girl.
what I mean? So can you tell what is the Instagram for?
Yeah, so I don't personally have an Instagram, but I do have a real estate Instagram, and it's at DEO Realty ORL.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's D as in David, EO Realty ORL.
Nice.
And I work all around Central Florida.
Okay.
But even if you got to go to Tampa, my system got it. We'll go. Just get me lunch. No, I'm kidding.
It's so funny.
I like Chick-fil-A.
And also, I know she's gonna come out soon in 2019 with a new vlog.
Who
of
knows?
Diaries,
maybe even before.
Diary of a Chubby Girl, and it's really good. It's so good. Like, if you want to know Natalie, like, you gotta watch her videos because they're so good.
I'm so silly.
Yeah, it's just, you're great. You're awesome. And I love you very much. And I know that we don't see each other a lot or whatever, but it's like, we always hit it off every time we see each other. So you're a blessing. You're a blessing.
You.
So I'm always rooting in your corner, girl.
Yes, me
too. Check her out on YouTube, Diary of a Chubby Girl.
Yes.
And just catch up so that when she does her new release, you're pretty much caught up. And thank you all for listening to Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. Did you know that Benevolence has an Instagram? You can go ahead and search Benevolence Podcast, or you can follow me at I am Ceci Diaz to know a little bit about me and Benevolence. If there's a topic that you would like for me to discuss in the future, please do not hesitate to email me at benevolencepodcast@gmail.com with requests, petitions, questions, comments, or testimonials. I want to hear from you. And stay tuned for next Monday's episode of Benevolence. You don't want to miss it. Bye!
Bye!